All right, it's been a while since I made a video over here, as usual. Not doing a good job being consistent, even though I try. I have good intentions every year. Every year I keep on trying. But anyway, so I want to get on to talk about the Sony, the 28 to 70 f2.0. This is the lens I'm actually shooting with right now, and it's paired with the Sony, the A7 IV. Okay, really love this camera. For bang for the buck, this camera so far so good. It's been a couple months. I've shot Sony for a while. I've gone away from it. Tried to kind of fully incorporate the Leica SL body system back to Sony as a hybrid, which kind of more on that kind of leads me to the basis for me wanting this 28 to 70 and where I think some of this may help you guys out. I've had this lens for several months now. I've also shot with the Canon with the RF 28 to 70. I had that and I shot for a little bit. I borrowed it. I thought it was going to work, and it was just too big for the kind of kit I like to carry. So it was just a little too big. For those of you who don't know or don't watch my channel, I'm primarily a portrait commercial photographer based out of Southern California. So that's largely what I do. Lately, I have actually been doing a lot more fitness commercial shoots, and specifically inside studios. And that is why the Sony, the A7 IV has done really well, really great in low light. And then I was shooting with the 28 to 50, and the 2.8 was doing just fine with the A7 IV, but I was like, I was still getting good images, but ISO was kind of creeping up there. I mean, sometimes I'd be up in like 2000s, 3000s, because I still want to maintain a high shutter speed for some of those action shots. Then on top of that, I did want a little bit more reach. And I didn't want to be searching around for different lenses and do a 50 for 150 was going to be too long. I borrowed that for a little bit. So I figured 24 to 70, that should be fine. And I never really go wider than 28 because I don't really want to get into people's faces in the studio. These are supposed to be candid. These are people that want to just be working out, and I want to kind of be off in the distance. So 28 to 70 has been great for that. The F2, amazing. Why is it amazing? I think I'm primarily a prime shooter. I still stand by a lot of people's opinions, specifically if they're prime shooters. This isn't going to replace your primes, but the way I use this 28 to 70, the way I use my Sony A7 IV, is I use it in a hybrid style, which is primarily commercial, quick situations where I am not controlling the pace. I need to adapt to the pace. So, for example, I'm taking candids for a 45-minute fitness shoot. I can't stop and pause things to go ahead and swap out lenses. I can still have two cameras on and I have a harness and do that. But me personally, I prefer to have one body. I like to have a secondary body as a backup with me, yes. But I like to only be dealing with one body at a time if I can. Sometimes you just can't. Like wedding photography, they just can't. I get it. Me, I like the one body. So in a hybrid format, the 28 to 70, the F2, I'm switching back and forth from video to stills. And the stills I get with this lens, really, really beautiful stills. They don't leave me wanting for anything. Like beautiful subject separation, even in a crowded studio. I like to kind of incorporate some foreground elements to add some depth. The images I get, the quality, amazing. The client's been really happy with the images. As soon as I got this lens, all of the shoots I did with this lens, they were like, oh my God, these are the best ever. I mean, I don't go into details why. I'm like, yeah, that's me. What can I say? I'm getting used to the studio, right? I'm not telling them, oh yeah, well, it's this lens I just picked up. It's not me. But it it allows me to do things that I can't do with other lenses. And the fact that I can switch back and forth. So I have the zoom for the video because that's just more practical. I can zoom in, zoom out as I need to without switching lenses. And when I go and switch into stills, that f2 is really kind of giving me the best compromise to having a prime. I mean, I'm really not wanting for much in that situation. You know, I'm not doing some real stunning portraits. Um, if so, then yeah, I'm still gonna reach for the primes. So I guess my take on this is, if you are a prime shooter, I don't think that this is going to replace that. If I'm in a portrait situation and it's a controlled pace and we're shooting, I'm still gonna want to bring my primes. And right now, the primes I'm shooting on my Hasselblad X2D, or I'm bringing my Leica Q, right? So for those portraits, I'm still not bringing it. I'll bring the Sony and I'll break this out for video, but there's still a look that you get with the primes. To me, if I need to change my bags or if I need to get new bags to accommodate a camera and a lens combo, to me that's too big. So that's kind of the metrics I use. It's not really anything mathematical or anything. It's just, if it feels too big, if I have to bring a bigger bag that I don't want to bring, then it's too big for me. And this thing fits into my sling, the camera and the lens combo, no problem, very easily. And I could just bring that one sling, boom, I'm done. It's a super easy setup. One other thing too, which I kind of couldn't tell, you know, a lot of time you're reading these, you're watching these videos and you don't know who's being paid to say what. I don't get paid for anything. You can see my channel. It's not big enough for me to get paid for anything. Cam Mackey, I know he mentioned it, so that's the first name that comes to mind. He mentioned the character that you get out of this lens, especially with like the bloom of the lights and the highlights. I was skeptical about that. I wasn't really like sold on that. But I tell you what, I have noticed it in the images I have shot with this thing. And it's mainly been indoors, but in one of the studios, they has this really beautiful industrial high roof. And they've got these beautiful like pendant LED lights. And the lights in the background, the way this lens renders those lights in the bloom, it just looks beautiful. I can't be more happy with the quality of images and the character that I'm getting out of this lens. And I'll say that because I've never really been a big 24-70 fan. But the images are, you know, they were good. They were sharp. They were solid. But something about these images, I don't know. Maybe, you know, I hate to be so vague, but I like them. And again, I think it's maybe a subjective thing, and I can't pinpoint as to what it is, but yeah, the contrast, the color rendering, and definitely the one thing I have noticed is the way it handles the lights, the bloom of the lights. There's something that's just a little bit, it's got some character to it, so I like it. That's it. Balance on this lens is really good. One other thing that I don't hear a lot of people mention, again, it's probably just a me thing, probably just me being weird. I don't like it when lenses zoom out too much, especially for a standard zoom, something that's going to be your workhorse lens. I don't like exposing the internal components, the barrel, too much, especially from where I live. I live in California, so the sand, the dust of the desert, these are elements that are very real, that are very real part and a regular part of outdoor shooting. So I'm conscious of that. It's a very dry environment here for the most part, for the majority part of the year. So that's something I try and be conscious of and be wary of. This lens doesn't extend very far out. I mean, obviously I would wish that every standard zoom would be like the Nikon, the new one that they put out, how that's internal zooming. That to me is the most practical, especially for like a workhorse lens that a vast amount of photographers are using. I don't know why more lens manufacturers are not doing that. I'm hoping that there's a lens like that available for Sony or for E-mount or for anything that I can use. But that's also another factor that I like. The 86 millimeter filter thread, I think that's as large as I want to get. The 92 that I think that's on the Canon, that was massive, and it's just a lot of glass, and it just made me nervous all the time. And then to get a lens filter for this. On this 86, I'm able to use, and I don't know whether it's going to be a step down or step up ring, I'm able to use a ring, an adapter ring for the 82 millimeter filters, and I don't get any vignette. There it is. There's no vignetting around the lens. So I've seen multiple people test that, and I've seen the same thing. So if you're filming outside or you're going to need ND filters, you can still use your 82 millimeter filters and just adapt it to the 86, and that actually works really well. So yeah, so from practical standpoint, I like it. Really happy with the lens. I think specifically if you're using this for a hybrid and you're just having like a one lens, one body combo, that's gonna give you the best solution for both, because depending on whether you're doing photo or video, your Zoom is going to be more practical for video, especially run and gun quick stuff, and you're still going to want that prime look for the still images. And I think for me, this is the best kind of compromise. I'm really happy with the still images I get. I'm really not wanting for anything, especially for what I'm doing on these. I think if you're looking at this lens in a hybrid use case, I think that's probably, in my opinion, that's where I have felt the most benefit from this lens. I can't honestly say if you're a prime shooter that you won't be wanting for primes and you'll grab this. I don't think you will. But I think if you're doing events, if you're doing weddings, if you're doing stuff where you don't have the control and you can't control the pace and you have to adapt to the pace of the event or the environment, this is the way to go. It's a no-brainer. All right. That's all I got.